Welcome to the Behind the Bench Network. This your boy, Jay Shad, and I'm coming at you today, and the topic will be about D'Angelo Russell. And what I want to talk about is, can he resurrect his career? And people got to start assessing talent properly, and it takes work to do that. Before I even get started, man, I want to give a shout out to my boy JB from the Behind the Bench crew. He's been putting out some banger videos. Go ahead and follow those. Go view those on our YouTube page, the Behind the Bench Network. He talks about super teams. He got a couple videos about um, young teams doing it the right way when it comes to building their team up. And his latest video, he's giving homage to the Denver Nuggets. So with all that said, let me get into my video, which is D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell was drafted number 2 overall by the Los Angeles Lakers, I want to say in 2017 or 2016. I know he was drafted between 2016 and 2019. I don't have my laptop with me, so a lot of this is just going to be off the top of the dome. So, D'Angelo Russell came out of, I believe, Ohio State as a combo guard, number 2 pick overall. Magic Johnson drafted him. He was supposed to hang banners in LA, but never really got the opportunity because of him and Nick Young having a beef. And Magic said it tore up. It split the locker room in half, which I believe it was a lie. I believe Magic just wanted to get rid of him to clear cap space because he was colluding with LeBron James. So for him to get rid of that D'Lo contract and Timothy Mozgov, well, to get rid of Timothy Mozgov contract, the Brooklyn Nets at the time wanted them to throw in D'Lo to clear off that cap space. Like I said, for them to sign LeBron James, because Magic came out the year that summer prior and said, if I don't get the big fish in free agency, then I'm just going to resign. He was already colluding with LeBron. LeBron was already colluding with Magic before he even stopped playing with Cleveland. The Lakers was already making questionable moves with um, moving a couple players to Cleveland um, just during that season. Jordan Clarkson and dang, I can't think of the other player. Give me a second. It was oh man, I can't think of his name, but he was the power forward. But they was clearing cap space, so D'Angelo Russell was traded because, like I said, Magic said it was split in the locker room, which I don't understand because Nick Young wasn't on the team. They traded Lou Williams to the Clippers. Well, he wasn't on the team. Brooke Lopez was on the team. The only real veterans on the team, and Luol Deng was not even around the team and was getting paid. So the veterans, it sure wasn't split with the veterans, and the young players was. It was only a couple young players that was with D'Angelo Russell, and some of those players was not even on the team the following year. So, you know, can't trust anything that comes out of Magic Johnson's mouth when it comes to basketball. But let me go ahead and continue. So D'Lo goes to Brooklyn, and I think within the first or the second year, like I said, all this is coming from the top of the dome. He led them to a playoff, and he played well. I believe he was an All Star that year. When he went to the playoffs with Brooklyn. Um, and this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people, they watch games. They've been watching games for years. I got over 35 years of watching the NBA. watching the NBA. I watch basketball. I watch NBA. I watch college. I watch WNBA. I'm a basketball junkie. Um, but a lot of people can't assess talent. A lot of people think they can assess talent, but a lot of people can't not assess talent, and they don't remember the history of what they've been watching throughout all these years, which I do. I'm not saying that I remember every single thing, because I'm reminded about a player or a team, from the 80s and the 90s that I probably forgot, but I will remember. They will remind me. But when it came to D'Angelo Russell, he's a combo guard. So he could do some scoring and he could dish. Okay, so when he went to Brooklyn, he was a combo guard. They allowed him to run the offense. He set up players. The team was successful. Um, the future was looking bright, even though they had all these young players from Jefferson to numerous other players that they just needed a big fish to close out games and to pair with D'Angelo Russell. Um, but we all know what took place with D'Angelo Russell. He was dealt to Golden State for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant ended up going to Brooklyn and pretty much wrecked that whole franchise, from top to bottom, and everything that they built was thrown down the drain. But D'Angelo Russell came to Golden State and he was paired with Steph Curry, and it was a good pairing. Clay wasn't playing, and they still had some holes in their roster, but everybody wanted to see, once Clay came back, how Steph would gel, and can that team be able to compete? Well, we was never able to see that happen, because D'Angelo Russell, even though he was playing well in Golden State, he was dealt to Minnesota, and he was pretty much the third scorer on the team behind Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. But they didn't allow him to play D'Angelo Russell type of ball, which is control the offense, make decisions. Same thing in Golden State. He wasn't D'Angelo Russell in Brooklyn, which made him an all-star, which elevated the team. And when he went to Minnesota, he was more of a shooting guard. They wanted him to be more of a shooting guard instead of the combo guard. And it was like, so when they double team, Karl Anthony Towns or Edwards, and if he's open, he's supposed to catch and shoot. But some players need to get in rhythm. And what do I mean by rhythm? Some players need to dribble before they shoot. Some players ain't catch and shoot guys. Even though he's capable of catching and shooting, he's better when he's going to the basket and, he's finishing at the rim. He's throwing up floaters. He's doing turnaround fadeaways. He's taking 1-2 dribble going right, lifting, taking 1-2 dribble going left, lifting up, and setting up teammates. That's when D'Angelo Russell's at his best. But if he's unable to play that type of style, it limits him and his effectiveness to help the team. So when they went into the playoffs, he didn't really show up. And I think a lot of it have to do with his confidence, because he don't know what his role is. When he went to Brooklyn, they gave him a role. He was the star. He was a number 2 draft pick. Hey, do what you need to do, make this team better. He had a role. When he went to Golden State, it was kind of like catch and shoot, score when you can, ISO ball, do what you need to do. When he went to Minnesota, it was, okay, go ahead and play some ISO ball. But they didn't allow him to get Karl Anthony Towns in rhythm and get him the ball where he needs to get the ball at. Or the same thing with Anthony Edwards. So, he was very limited. So in that playoffs, he wasn't consistent. He'll have a game where he looked good, then he'll have a game when he didn't look good. And then he'll have a game when he didn't look good, and then he'll have a game when he had a so-so game. It was no consistency. So from Minnesota, the Lakers trade for him because he has a large contract, and if they want to dangle his contract to help LeBron, then that's what they'll do. He came to the Lakers. A lot of Laker fans was excited because they knew that he could shoot, but just like I said, he's not. His game ain't really spot up shooting. That's not really his game. His game is to get other people involved and control the rock, but you can't do that when you play with LeBron. You're go stand in the corner, go stand on the wing, keep the middle open, and I'm gonna drive and then I'm gonna kick it and LeBron will drive and kick it if he don't have anything. And most of the time when you're getting the ball in the corner or on the wing, it's probably about 3 seconds left, 4 seconds left that you got to really kind of like catch and shoot, or maybe do one dribble move and then shoot. You're not really in a rhythm and rocking somebody to sleep, and then go attack or whatever, you know. So when it came to these playoffs, he'll have a game where he might have scored 19, and then he'll have a game where he scored 13, or he only took, it'll be a game when he took 12 shots, and it'll be a game when he only took 8 shots. There's no consistency because he didn't really have a real role on the team, and that's what happens when you play with LeBron James. Everything is to benefit him and his numbers, and if you win, you win. He gets credit, but if you have a good game, you don't get the credit. It's still LeBron James because in everybody's mind, LeBron James make everybody better, but I haven't yet been able to see that. Especially players that needs the ball in their hands and or need to have it in their sweet spot, and LeBron James to play off ball. So, when it comes to D'Angelo Russell, I believe if he went to the right team, and if a GM and a coach sat him down and said, look, we need you to average 17 points a game. We got two other scorers on this team. We got one scorer that's going to give us anywhere between 19 and 24 any given night. And then we got another one. He's going to give us a consistent 27 points a game. We just need you to score 17, run the offense, give us 10 assists, but most importantly, play defense. If D'Angelo Russell could get to the right situation where he's only asked to score 17, 18 points, which should be easy for him, if he could and get to the line, if he could get 5 free throws a game, hit 2 threes, two field goals, jumpers, and he could average 17, 18 points a game easy. You see what I'm saying? The layup here, scoring in the paint, and one, 2 threes. Not, if you got it going, cool, do you, but try to keep your threes limited. Try to work, score. You are a better scorer closer to the basket. Your field goal percentage go up higher the closer you shoot at the rim compared to shooting further away. You know, um, but if the coach could get him to play defense and say, look, we don't need you to score 22, 24 points a game. Score 17, but focus on defense. If he is able to go to like a San Antonio Spurs, maybe a Detroit Pistons, let me think of another team that could help him. That he could help. Probably going back to Brooklyn or even staying in LA. And they told him to run the offense, score 17, get 10 assists, try to keep your turnovers to at least 2 or 3, and play defense. He could literally help a team. He could literally help a team and get back to his form. The great point guards, combo guards, they don't have to score 24, 25 points a game. 25 plus points a game. If they keep it at 17, 18, 19 points a game and diss them and rack up at least 10 assists and play defense, you can have a great career in the NBA. And that's any young player out there that hears this video. If you're a point guard, keep it at 18 points, 17 points, dish out 10 assists, keep your turnovers less than 3, and play solid defense, you can have a Hall of Fame career. And if D'Lo has a chance to do that, he will be able to bounce back. If you expect D'Lo to come in and give your team 22 points and do catch and shoots and ISO all day, you're not going to get the best out of D'Lo. You got to play him at his strengths. And a lot of people don't know certain players' strengths because they didn't watch the player play in college. They didn't watch the player play it with other teams until he joined their team. You know, I remember a show called NBA Tonight, came on ESPN2 around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they would have real people that knew the game of basketball. They would break plays down. They would show you what teams was running. They would tell you player strength and weaknesses that you knew where players love to shoot the ball and what was their go-to move and you know what spots that they love to get to on the court. So when you're watching the game and you see the player get to that spot, you knew that player, he was going, you know, 60% of the time that shot was going in. 70% of the top shot, that shot was going in. If it was, you know, Paul Pierce getting it, shooting it at the elbow at the top of the key, you knew that was his money shot. Same way, Dirk had the same spot too. You see Melo coming off that baseline, that jab step. Either he was gonna take it to the rim hard baseline, or he was going to pop. You know, so or from the wing, Melo from the wing. You knew either he was going to pop or get to the rim. So you just got to know where they like the ball, how they like to play, and if they're playing that style of play, then your expectations should be a little bit higher. But if they're not playing their style of play, don't expect them to be some player that you want them to be, or some player that you're hearing from other people from social media, or that don't really pay attention to these games, or mainstream media that don't really break down these players and they only talk about one person. You got to know people that know the game of basketball, know what these players was doing the year before and the year before that, and know what to expect when they come to your team and how they are gonna play. Right now, it looks like D'Lo ain't a playoff performer, but to argue he don't know what his role is, and he ain't been consistent because he don't know what his role is. I'm gonna keep this video under 20 minutes. I'm at the 18-minute mark, but it's just something to think about, something to understand. When it comes to some of these players, they're not garbage. They're not hot garbage. They may just not be playing the style that they grew up playing. You can't ask a player that controlled the ball to now be a spot-up shooter. Go stand in the corner and be a spot-up shooter and expect him to be the same player that he was. You know what I'm saying? I made this argument with the Kevin Loves of the world. Kevin Loves, you know, when he was in Minnesota, he had a lot of shots on the block. When he went to Cleveland, he was just a spot-up shooter from 3. Then you wonder why he ain't getting the rebounds, because he's further away from the basket. Then you wonder why he ain't scoring the way he was, because even though he was a capable scorer from shooting 3, but his strength was scoring on the block, then bringing the ball out, hitting the mid-range, and then occasionally hit a 3, if he was wide open on transition or whatever. But like I said, man, this is the Behind the Bench Network. Check out our other videos. We're talking real basketball here. We're breaking stuff down. We're giving homage to the players that deserve to get homage. We're talking other sports. Follow JB, follow Kelvin on Twitter. And, if you want us to make a video, let us know. Until then, subscribe, share, and like, man. Until then, this is the Behind the Bench. I'm your boy Jay Shot, and I'm out.